This Champions League and Europa League picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at underdogfantasy.com, promo code PLGP to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, April the 14th. We are here to handicap the Champions League and Europa League quarter-final matches for this midweek. There's a Premier League game to come as well. And we will put a bow on the Premier League weekend, which hasn't quite finished, 9 games out of 10. And we've still got Fulham at Bournemouth this evening. Joining me, another weird time. We're messing everyone's systems about, Baz, from somewhere in Nottinghamshire, I believe, with a shepherd's pie on the go, is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Barry, tell us about the shepherd's pie.
Indeed, yeah. I just swung by the shop and started cooking at about 5:30 and then realised I didn't really have time to cook and eat said shepherd's pie, so it'll now be going cold on the side. Well, it's in 2 pans. There's a pan of mash and there's a pan of mince and loads of vegetables, so I'll construct it all together afterwards.
Is it a legit shepherd's pie, though, or is it a cottage pie, Barry?
Cottage pie, innit? If it's made of beef, it's cottage pie.
It's a cottage pie, yeah. And let me just check here. Checklist. Carrots?
Carrots, yeah.
Onions?
Yeah.
Peas?
Yeah, no peas in it, like. No need.
Good. Well done. You're 3 out of 3 so far, Barry. Right, I'm going a bit off grid now. Garlic.
I didn't put any garlic in. Not in a cottage pie.
No, mate. That's up to you. There was no right or wrong answer to that. Celery.
That doesn't go in anything.
Does it not?
Celery.
Fair enough. Any other ingredients? Right, hang on. I've got a rogue one here, Baz. Worcester sauce.
It's got Worcester sauce in, yeah. Well done.
Did you? Fucking get in.
Always got a bit of Worcester sauce. Worcester sauce, bit of tomato puree, and a few herbs in there. Few herbs de Provence is the jar I used, actually. So
de Provence. He's good player. What did he play for West Ham? About 96. Harry Redknapp picked him up, didn't he, from Ligue 2. Yeah, herb to Provence. Well, that was it, everybody. We enjoyed that a lot. Same time next week. Cottage pie chat. Well done.
I remember who always asked what vegetables
I'm not fucking stopping, Barry, with the cottage pie chat. Will you be putting any grated cheese on the top?
Yeah, the cheese is grated on the side there. So the mash will go on the top. The cheese will go on the top. I'll chuck it in the oven till it goes nice and crispy on the top. And I've got some purple sprouting broccoli because there's someone, I can't remember who it is, always asks what vegetables are on the go. But yeah, purple sprouting broccoli. Austin, yeah. Purple sprouting broccoli is the answer today.
Oh, well. Michael thought we were having a full-on Labour Scran debate then. And then the herbs to Provence has turned up and shoved it back onto the Tory side of the equation. So there you go. I had a bowl of pasta, Baz. A little bit of veg, chicken, little cream sauce, nothing fancy at all. Left the cream out for the IT department because she doesn't like it. So I'm there making 2 separate pasta dishes, but you know me. Right, okay, good chat. Michael is in the chat. Ian lights out, likes Worcester sauce in his burger. Lee's here, Callum is here, John Cullerfay waiting on the ad reads, I imagine. And first in tonight was James Mafia, all the way over in Canada. How you doing, James? Welcome along. Yeah, Premier League tonight. Bournemouth, Fulham. I think we all quite liked Fulham, didn't we? Fulham had finished the weekend off round about 9-4 with a nice winner. And 1 Premier League match on Wednesday, which is Newcastle v Palace. And then we've got the Champions League and the Europa League quarterfinals coming up. Yeah, so everything set up nicely for another fun week. All of our picks and podcasts on the entire network are on the app. Use the SGPN app wherever you get your apps. I haven't got much crack, Barry, really, other than to say I quite enjoyed the Masters. It was very good fun. It was dramatic last night. It was very, very good sport, and I really wanted Rory to win. Although, had he not won, I wouldn't have been asked one or the other. My bets were down by Thursday tea time, nothing at all to cheer on. But apart from that, I had a pretty steady weekend. I was at the match yesterday, which I'm sure we'll come to momentarily. But that was me, Baz. You got any crack?
Yeah, I watched a bit. I mean, I hadn't watched much of the golf all weekend until the latter stages last night. I tuned in. I wasn't sure if I wanted. I don't like Rory. I think he's a bit of a dickhead. I don't like the cut of his jib, to be honest with you. He's all a bit self-righteous, and since all the live golf stuff kicked off, and he took all the moral high ground in that. Well, I don't like anyone doing that because Saudis are, funding our football club these days. But when it comes down to it, I mean, like you, I wouldn't have been bothered if he'd lost. But when he fluffed it on the last hole, I did sort of think it'd be nice if he went and won it now. But you got to feel for Rose as well. He's come second 3 times in that competition now. Lost twice on a playoff. So yeah, it was good. As you say, it was good entertainment, though, good drama.
I think, well, there was a little reminder this morning when Manchester United tweeted out, congratulations to Manchester United fan Rory McIlroy. And I instantly thought, I forgot about that. Fuck him. So there you go. Yeah, Harry's joined us. Chelsea, how we doing? Tom Crean, Iceman Bosch, how we doing? And Jurgen Klopp loves this. Connor Mack, Tall Paul's best mate. Had a bit of Jason Day, 75-1 each way. Picks wise, I went all right. I am 5-4, Barry, with 1 to go. And my corned beef pie, I hit as well. I'm normally a waste of everyone's time on the old Ackers, but I got it over 2.5 treble in. Wasn't maybe an amazing price. 11-4. We'll take that. 11-4's corned beef pie territory. Didn't start very well, Baz, when we both took the unders in City v Palace. We took the unders in a 7-goal thriller on Saturday lunchtime. I thought, shit, it's going to be a long weekend here. And Saturday wasn't brilliant, but Villa and both teams to score and Arsenal got us on the board. And then I had a really good Sunday, Baz. I went 3 out of 4 yesterday. My only loser was Liverpool West Ham under 2.5. It's 1-0 with 3 minutes left. Like, I'm an unlucky loser there. You get an OG and then a last-minute winner. But Wolves at 5-4 against the hapless Tottenham was a great bet. They were all easy winners, the other 3 as well. I mean, Wolves won by 2 clear goals. Ipswich on the handicap were 2-0 up. That was never in doubt. And then Newcastle trouncing bottom half opposition was never in doubt either. So, yeah, happy with that. Baz, winners, losers, how did you get on?
Similar to you, really. 5 winners, 4 losers. Still want to run tonight. I took the Villa and Brentford handicaps. Brentford against Arsenal with a goal. So Brentford getting the draw was good for me. Goals in the Spurs game, goals in the Ipswich game, and Newcastle to win. And I got a slightly better price than you because I tagged on the over 1.5 just to make it that little bit easier.
You did, didn't you?
So good. But the highlight was the ladder back in the. I told you I've been a little bit out of sorts with the ladder. Struggled, would hit a couple of bottom rungs, but not really climbed up them. I skipped the ladder last week to have a little bit of a reset, really sort my head out and get into it. And we smashed it. Went for a Brighton first half shots ladder. Started at over 7.5, went up to over 13.5 first half shots from Brighton, and they hit all 14. So we got right to the very top at around about 7-1 for the 14 Brighton first half shots. And I did say if you couldn't get the first half shots, just take Brighton match shots. And that went well up. I think you needed 17 to start climbing, and they finished on 22 or 23 in total. So yeah, good ladder from Brighton. I did see some of that Chelsea game. That would have been a nice ladder to be on. Chelsea had 35 shots yesterday. That's a lot, isn't it?
It's quite a lot, Baz, yeah. So it was highlighted on Match of the Day too that they couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. So that made me laugh. Yeah, nice ladder play, Baz. What I like there, Barry, is you took the week off, didn't you, to recalibrate? Yeah. Mate, that's incredible. Incredible self-awareness here. I think I called you a twat or something, but in hindsight, Barry, you know better than me. Callum wants to know what happened to the ferret video. Why isn't that up on Twitter?
There's an update on the ferret video. I've got the video. I can share it. I don't think it was a ferret, Malcolm. I think it was a polecat.
A what?
A polecat. Have you heard of one of them?
Polecat?
Yeah.
What made you change outright? Same old things.
Well, I just Googled it, didn't I? I said, do ferrets attack rabbits in the wild? And the answer was, well, they would, but you don't really see ferrets in the wild in the UK. They're mainly a captive species. So unless someone's released a ferret, it's unlikely it would be a ferret. But they reckon polecats are rife in the wild. And I'd never heard of a polecat, but when you look at a picture, it looks just like a ferret. And apparently they love rabbits. They love chasing rabbits and killing rabbits. So I'm going to lean with it being a polecat there, a little bit of nature.
Wow. I've just Googled polecats, Barry. They were very distinctive features, little black and white stripy faces like a badger. Is it not? You would have thought it was obviously a polecat in hindsight.
Well,
no?
It looks like a ferret, doesn't it?
What? A polecat?
Well, aye.
Might do. Ian reckons it might be a marmot. I don't think we have them in this country. I don't think I've ever said marmot before. 49 years. My debut saying marmot. I've enjoyed that. I imagine it looks like a ferret, Barry. This is a conversational cul-de-sac, I'll be honest. Pretty good, though. Might have been a skunk, Joe. Yes. How you doing?
I'll post it on Twitter. Now you've mentioned it, Malcolm, it doesn't look like a polecat. I'm just watching the video again. And it hasn't got the white face you're talking about. So I'm going to put it on Twitter and the people can decide. All
right, okay, yeah. Put a poll up, Baz. A polecat poll. Oh, my God. This stuff writes itself, Barry. Right, we'll do eye catchers in a minute. We'll talk about football rather than the flora and fauna of the UK. If you've ever had your deposit blocked by a bank right before a big bet at 2 a.m, or you want another shot at the tables, you've hit your ATM limit, Edge Boost has got your back. It's the first ever bank account built for bettors. Edge Boost gives you fast, reliable access to your funds. If you're a high roller like Baz, you can move up to $250,000 a day on your Edge Boost Visa debit card. It works 24/7 for instant deposits. Edge Boost is a debit account, makes it easy to get started. Verify your identity and you're ready to go. There's loads of responsible gambling tools on there as well. Go to www.edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's www.edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag, your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs. There's props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Might be a weasel. Eye catchers, Baz. I will mention, so I didn't put Everton on my list, but Michael's here, so and he's mentioned Everton as well. Yeah, I mean, absolutely astonishing stuff. I was going to mention Forest, so we can kind of talk about them in the same breath. That so much has to go right. We've said in the past, for Forest to win a game, they have to tick quite a lot of boxes, like get the first goal and stuff like that. The thing, I actually watched the majority of this game on Saturday, and Forest looked absolutely terrified. It was the first time this season I've seen it. I've talked to them up the last 3 weeks. I was quite impressed with how they'd come back against Villa when they could have collapsed. On Saturday, it looked like the reality of what was facing them had dawned on them, and they looked absolutely terrified. And when you do that, Everton are the last team you want to come up against, because Everton are the schoolyard bully. They'll absolutely shake you for your pocket money and your lunch money, and that's exactly what they did, and got the goal right at the end. I enjoyed Decore's give me a new contract celebration. That was good. But yeah, Forest looked absolutely terrified to me. Chelsea, you just mentioned them. I don't know what they're doing. It seems impossible, in fact, to go back to October. I think we did the international break and we do some futures. And I think I said, Chelsea around about 6-1. They're live here because really it was a bit of a 3 or 4 horse race. Liverpool were doing okay, and Chelsea had been great. And then all of a sudden, they're not great. And I don't think the manager's very good, Barry. That's what I've decided with Chelsea. And then Tottenham and Man United, if you want something to loll at. I don't know which one you would loll at most. Man United, beating Man United yesterday, it's great. Never get bored of it. We got in the pub yesterday, and it didn't even feel like it was special anymore. It was just like, oh yeah, all right, lads, how are we doing? Just battered Man United again. Like, it was like we'd beaten fucking Colchester. Like, it was just a nothingness. It was an absolute nothingness. And Tottenham are a fiasco. And Ange Postecoglou, we've been on the fence. Sometimes I think he's all right. You've gone off him a little bit. He started just telling lies now, and that's never a good idea. Like, it's just not a good idea. So that was that. Baz, any eye catchers?
Yeah, I mean, I watched that Forest Everton game. I mean, I nearly fell asleep in the first half. I thought it was very dull. But I thought Forest were very poor. Everton deserved the win, really. They were a better side comfortably. I told you I hated my Forest pick. I feel like I got bullied into that Forest pick a bit, because every time I go against Forest, I get grief. Every time I pick Everton, I get grief. And I feel like I caved in against all better judgment. I didn't like it. From about 10 minutes into the game, I knew I was not going to win that pick. What else? Yeah, well, obviously the Man United game was a good one. I laughed at a moment in that game. There was the point where Xerxes gets injured, and I was annoyed because the referee stopped the game, and I don't know why he stopped the game, because all he done was pull a hamstring, and you don't stop the game for that. Fuck him, let him rot. It's fine. Wait till it goes out. But
let him rot.
But it's the point where they then look to the sideline, and Rasmus Højlund's warming up. And I just think how depressing must it be as a Man United fan, coach, player, when every week that's the game changer. Like, right, we've got Xerxes on, he's not doing out, swap him for Højlund. Or we've got Højlund on, he's not doing out, let's swap him for Xerxes. And it's just the same thing you repeat every week, and neither of them ever produce a fucking thing, do they? They're absolute shite, the two of them. Like,
we got to the pub after, Andy and Tiger sitting a little bit up behind me, said they thought Højlund was like a coach or like a physio or something. He was just a weird shape. He's got a belly like a poison puppy. He just looked like a 42-year-old man warming up. I don't understand why Xerxes hasn't ran all season. It's the first time he's done it, he's popped a hamstring, so that was good.
The other thing I thought about, Bruno Fernandes, got to mention. Can you remember Bruno Fernandes? We used to hate him. He was a little annoying, arrogant, fucking tetchy fucker. He was annoying on the pitch. He was annoying off the pitch. And I think he's changed. I don't think you see any of that attitude, the petulance or anything. And you hear him after the game. And actually, I thought he came across okay. And I've realised what it is, Malcolm. He's been humbled. He's been humbled by the fact they have become absolute dog shit. Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, you get to the point where he can't any longer validate his behaviour.
Yeah,
because they're just getting humped
because
every
they've
week.
gone so far, he can't behave in the petulant way he used to, and now he has to act like a grown up. So it just struck me that his attitude's very different these days. So yeah,
he might have come across okay. However, what he did say was absolute bollocks, and he said, "I'm just frustrated because I know these players are a lot better."
Yeah, they're not.
And that's not true, Bruno. They're not a lot better. They're terrible. The majority of them. Lindelof's cack. Let's go through them. Dalot needs some pills or something. He needs some sort of medication. He's not well, Dalot, in the head. Like, I don't know what's wrong with him. I'm not a medical professional, Barry, but his fucking head isn't right. Ericsson, Weisammerin picked him again. You got Kobe Mainoo on the bench. At least run around like. But Bruno Fernandes genuinely wouldn't get in our team now. He might get 20 minutes to the end to give Tonali a break, when he's knackered. So Bruno going,
Tonali doesn't get knackered.
Someone else.
It was something like the 90th minute yesterday. Tonali picks it up on the edge of our box, and he just goes on a diagonal run to the corner, and he just breezes past everyone. And he's probably ran the most yards of anybody in that game. And he just had no problem just running all the way past everyone without any effort whatsoever. I just think yesterday, he just never stops that bloke. Like,
yeah, he's an absolute machine. He looks better and better every week. Wig Raider joined us in the chat. Wig Raider, how are you doing? So, just before we move on, I saw a mention of Phil Foden there in the chat yesterday. I saw a really funny tweet yesterday, which, after all the grief he got last week, and the first like 3 or 4 lines read like a really serious tweet. He said, listen, Phil Foden's mother came to a charity event that I put on once. She was really nice and personable all day, dead friendly, really generous with her time and her money. And she wanked 4 or 5 of us off before she left. So the whole thing, it just read so seriously until that last bit. Absolutely slayed me. I enjoyed that a lot. Poor Mrs. Ford. That's my mate, Claire, that is, you're all talking about. Right, okay. I've read some adverts out, haven't I, already? Right, we'll make some picks then, Baz. Right, we had this because we've got Champions League Tuesday, Wednesday, then Premier League Wednesday. So do you want to do Champions League, Premier League, Europa League?
We've only got one Premier League. Let's get the Premier League done, and then we'll hit the Champions League. I've got nothing for the Europa League, so that's on you again.
Gee, Barry. Yeah, we have just talked about length about Newcastle, so let's not overkill it. This is Wednesday at 7:30. Newcastle United taking on Crystal Palace. Newcastle 4-6, -150, 29-10 the draw, +290, and Crystal Palace are 4-1. Palace aren't the worst 4-1 shots I've ever seen, by the way. Absolutely live. It was a good weekend for Newcastle. Apart from the win, Forest and Chelsea dropped points again. Newcastle really the only team who were consistently picking points up in that race for a Champions League place. They didn't have to be brilliant against bottom half opposition, and they weren't. But we got goals and assists coming from everywhere. We scored 7 goals this week, and Isak has scored none of them. Not alone, like you'd expect him to get 5 or 6 of them, but he hasn't. Goals and assists coming from all over the front half of that pitch. Crystal Palace were very good and absolutely shite, all in the same match. In fact, all in the same half of the same match. And it baffled me because I'm at 2-0 up. I nearly tweeted something out, and I thought, I'll just go steady. Next thing I know, they had the 3-0 VAR decision, which was really tight, and SA probably should have done better. Inches away from 3-0. Then at half-time, it's 2-2. The manager absolutely shit the bed at half-time. I don't know what he was doing. At least he had the awareness to go out and say, sorry, that's on me. I fucked that up. And it finished 5-2. So I don't know what to do with Palace. That was a really weird one. It's a big chance for Newcastle to go above Forest into third. We'll only be 4 points behind Arsenal if we win this, Barry. But it's really hard to ignore Palace's away record before that Man City game because they were absolutely flying away from home. In the league and the cup, don't forget, you got the FA Cup semi-final to come up to as well. So I want to factor Palace in. In my pick here is a bit lame, Baz. But, I mean, it's a great price. It's plus money. 21-20 plus 105. It's the both teams to score over 2.5. There's 2 teams who are regular scorers. We've just seen Newcastle score 4 and 3 on Monday and Saturday. Palace scored 2 away from home at City. Yeah, it's dead straightforward, Baz. Not prize winning, but I was surprised at the price, actually. Newcastle might nick it 2-1. Like I say, Palace not the worst 4-1 shots you've ever seen. Palace could nick it 2-1. We have lost to Fulham, Bournemouth, Brighton, all since Christmas at home. These are the kind of teams that cause us problems rather than that dog shit we played yesterday. So, yeah, that's my play, Baz.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It was I consider that one myself. Ended up somewhere different. See Newcastle 5 wins on the bounce and getting into good scoring form. You've mentioned the goals are coming from everywhere now. I mean, this will definitely represent a tougher challenge than Leicester or Man United, with Palace obviously being in really good form prior to Saturday. As you say, they're always on the score sheet. And that was the only thing really that sort of put me off Newcastle a bit. Newcastle are flying at the minute, and it is a big opportunity. And I think we might nick it here, but Palace won't make things easy, and you can definitely see them getting on a score sheet. And that's why I've went for goals as well, but I've gone a little bit further. I've went for the over 3.5 here. I think it could be a decent game. Newcastle win 3-1 or 3-2, something like that. But the over 3.5 goals, it's 7-4 is where I've gone here. I think both sides will play their part.
Yeah, got no problem with that at all, Baz. We'll crack on with the Champions League in a little minute. Andy's made it into the chat. Andy, welcome along. let me tell you about. I'll just scroll down a bit here. Underdog. Pick 'em. You can play any sport, win up to 100 times your money. Sign up with our promo code PLGP to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. And Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. Plus, they've got models for NBA and golf. Picks so good it feels like cheating. Rhythm has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off a monthly subscription with the promo code SGPN25 and 50% off an annual subscription with the promo code SGPN50. That's RTHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. I asked the AI earlier on, Barry, to write, I meant to ask it to write show descriptions for the MLB shows this week to do the 5 streams, but I mistyped and wrote shoe descriptions. And then I couldn't fucking understand what on earth had gone on because I got descriptions of baseball shoes, baseball players' shoes, different. One of them just said Thursday, Moneyball loafers. Like, what does that even mean? Moneyball loafers. Moneyball's a baseball film. Loafers are shoes. Fucking AI. I'm not having that. It took me ages to work out what I'd done. What? It was funny though. So yeah,
you've asked it for baseball shoes.
The baseball shoe, Moneyball loafers. Yeah, it's the best day I could have come up with that. Where are we going? Champions League, 8 o'clock on Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Aston Villa are taking on PSG. Villa 23-10. The draw is 27-10. PSG are 11-10 plus 110. I haven't really wrote down the prices to qualify here because a lot of these games, they're not completely dead, but a lot of them are very dead. Like the biggest price team to qualify, if the favourites, is Inter Milan at 1-3. Everyone else is 1-10, 1-14, 1-25. Any price you like. So not much jeopardy in these, which made them all really hard to handicap, Baz. So you can lead us off. What did you go with?
So we're starting with Villa PSG, aren't we? Is that where we're
Villa
at?
PSG, yeah. Glad you were listening, Baz.
Yeah, I switched off for a minute.
He switched up.
I've got a lot going on in my life, Malcolm. You are the least important of all the things. Anyway, Aston Villa. I think the third PSG goal last week in injury time was a killer for Villa, you could say. I think a 2-1 and coming home where they are in good form, that are still being in with a chance you'd have fancied. But 3-1, I think it looks a massive challenge for them, particularly with how well this PSG side are playing at the moment. Villa are in good form, and particularly at home. They're unbeaten in 17. And even in this competition, the home form's been brilliant. They've had wins over Bayern, Milan, Celtic, Bruges, and a draw against Juve sees them unbeaten at home in the Champions League. So not entirely beyond the realms of possibility that they'll make a game of this one. The problem for me, I just think the game situation isn't going to suit them because they were very pragmatic last week, took no risk, looked to keep it tight. And initially it looked like the plan had worked a treat. They go 1-0 up. But then, despite that pragmatic approach, they still ultimately conceded 3 goals. And obviously this week's, Villa have to take the risk. They've got to come out and play. And I just feel like that's going to play into PSG's hands. PSG are hard to break down anyway. Decent side defensively, as Liverpool saw over 2 legs. And I just can't see how Villa can go out trying to find a couple of goals and be able to shut PSG down at the other end. Villa Park has been good to them, but then you look at how PSG did at Anfield. Everyone thought going to Anfield with that 1-0 lead, Liverpool would see them out. And I just don't see it. I don't see PSG playing with any fear here. I think Villa having to be a bit more expansive. I can see Villa getting a goal, but I think the problem's going to be shutting PSG down to the other. And I'm taking PSG goals here. PSG team total over 1.5 at 5-6.
Okay, nice. Your picks interested me there, Baz. It should be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. Villa have to have a go. And PSG don't seem like the type of team who are going to sit there and try and soak it up. They're just not. The first goal is absolutely crucial in this game. It could totally and utterly set up for a grandstand finish, or it could blow the game out the water if PSG get it. PSG have won 7 of 8 in this competition. The one they didn't win, they won everywhere else except on the score sheet against Liverpool. The 2 1-0s against Liverpool were really, really the outliers. And they weren't 1-0 games either, particularly that first one. All the other games, the other 8 Champions League games, they've gone over 2.5, and 4 of them have gone over 3.5. So lots of goals. We've mentioned how impressed we are with Villa. The fact that they can put out a stronger team now on a weekly basis, they can rotate in and out the attacking options. The weekend game against Southampton changes absolutely nothing, really. The only thing I took out of that was I'd still be furious if I was Ollie Watkins.
I called it, didn't I? I said, we talked about Watkins, and I said I thought Watkins would start on the bench again at the weekend because they must realise he needs to start this week because Rashford's just not good enough. And sure enough, he comes on and makes the difference 20 minutes from the end. It's just bizarre that he's still on it. As you say, why can he not play?
Similarly, why can't he fucking play twice?
I suppose that he has returned from injury, hasn't he? They have been easing him back in. That's the only possible thing for him, I'd say.
Soft as shite. I see a really similar game to the game we saw in Paris last week. And for that reason, Baz, both teams to score over 2.5. We saw it. We watched it. It was about spot on. And I'd be astonished. I think Villa can get a goal. Villa are going to have a right good go. They might win 2-1. They could easily lose 2-1. That would cash yours as well. But beat is yes and over 2.5, 9-10, -1. The second game on Tuesday is Borussia Dortmund taking on Barcelona. Dortmund 29-10, plus 290. The draw's 3-1. Barca 5-6, -125. Again, a bit of a weird one to handicap with Barcelona 4-0 up from the first leg. So effectively a dead rubber. Dortmund aren't in bad form and they're okay at home, but they're 8th in the Bundesliga and they're not up to this level as demonstrated by a 4-0 defeat last week in Spain. They've got home draws in this competition against Sporting, against Lille. So the form line just isn't strong enough, and they were found out. These 2 teams have played each other head-to-head twice now in this competition. Barcelona won 3-2 in the group stage, and they won 4-0 last week. The issue in finding a bet is it's 4-0. Barcelona are 4 points clear in La Liga. So they can't really ease up. It's not like Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool can do what they want at the minute. They've got such a massive cushion. Barcelona can't do that. They can't even at the weekend. So the load management of the players is going to be a thing. Barcelona have got all different ways of winning the game, of winning games. They won 1-0 at the weekend at Leganes, bit of an ugly one. They're not all sort of 5-0 gung-ho. I think Dortmund will give it a go here. Of course they will. But this might just fizzle out, Baz, after half-time. I'm going to take a punt at a bigger price on the draw. I could see it big in 1-1 and then everyone just fucking it off, because they're not going to get anywhere near them. So I'm going to take the draw at 3-1. It just seemed like a really big price, Faz, for a game that might just, like I say, might just peter out slightly.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough one, this one, with it potentially being dead and buried, you would think, from the first leg. I mean, Dortmund have done well to get this far, given how indifferent their form's been this year. Bang average, really, all season long. Home, away, cup, league, everything. Drew 2-2 away to Bayern at the weekend, which I suppose is a half-decent result for them. But they continue to be all over the place in terms of their form. 3 wins from the last 8. 3 wins, 3 defeats, 2 draws. Sort of highlights how inconsistent they are at the moment. And they aren't even finding any consistency at home, which is what they've had in the past. They've only won 3 of the last 12 home games. 5 draws, 4 defeats in that run. And that includes a 3-2 defeat at home to Barcelona as well in the Champions League. The game could be dead, and you know, this pick could end up being terrible. But I just didn't see any reason to fade Barcelona here at this price. I thought they're close enough to evens, They don't need a result, but that doesn't mean they won't go and get one. These two teams are miles apart. I mean, the 4-goal deficit last week tells you they were miles apart, and home advantage doesn't make up for a 4-goal difference. I think Barca are a good enough price to just go and win there again, as they did earlier in the season, as they did last week. Barca win at 5-6.
Okay. I've just looked back at my two Wednesday picks, and I like them both individually, but I don't like them. I don't like that I've made them both together. Does that makes zero sense? I'm fully aware. Like if we were doing 10, if they were on different pages, I would like them more. But I've got two games on the same page, and I don't like them next to each other. You might understand why in a little minute. Wednesday, 8 o'clock. First game is Inter Milan against Bayern Munich. Inter Milan 13-8 plus 162, 13-5 plus 260 the draw. Bayern Munich are 6-4 plus 150. Bayern Munich is favourites, Baz. WTF?
Yeah, first line in my notes. Yeah, a little surprised to see Bayern as favourites, having lost the home game. Inter 12 games unbeaten as well at the moment. Won 9 of the last 10 Champions League games, including all of their 5 Champions League home games. So Bayern favourites to win in 90 minutes is a little bit bizarre, especially because it's not like they're given much of a price about Inter to qualify. 1-3 Inter to qualify suggests the books think they'll get the job done, and yet Bayern favourites, not for me. I took the unders in this one last week, lost to an injury time goal from Inter, and the unders had been a player that's done well for Inter throughout this competition, but mainly in the early stages. The last three of the last 4 Champions League games for Inter have went over 2.5 goals. The last 2 both finishing 2-1. And actually, Inter's form in general in all competitions has seen a lot more goals. 7 of the last 8 games for Inter have seen both teams to score, and 6 of the 7 went over 2.5 goals as well. Bayern don't often fail to get on the score sheet. You've got to go a long way back since anyone last stopped Bayern scoring a goal in a game. In a game that they have to chase, I'm happy to take the goals here. I still like Inter to qualify. I still think Inter might win the game again. But the pick for me is the over 2.5 goals with both teams to score. It's even money.
Right. Well, that's no use to anyone, Baz. I don't know why Bayern are favourite. Definitely the wrong team favourite here. I've been out on them all year. Like, I've faded them every time, really, whether it's been to run up a total or to cover a handicap. And yeah, they've done me all right, Bayern. Bayern haven't shown enough to be favourites against this Inter team. We've repeatedly mentioned Inter's defence. I've got a stat, Barry, an actual real-life stat. The average XG of chances given up by Inter Milan in this competition is 0.03. They just don't give up anything, any quality chances at all. I mean, that's a remarkably low stat. If you're quite a hard-nosed statistical analyst like me, then you'll realise that stop laughing. That's a really low number. 0.03 is a low number, Barry. It's a low number. I don't like Bayern. I don't like company. I don't know where Lee is in the chat, so we can slag company off a bit. They've been untrustworthy in the big moments. Unders is the trend, Baz, and I took the unders again. It's plus money. 11-10, plus 110. Callum wants 1-0 Inter, and I agree with him. They're just going to defend like badgers.
That's the old trend.
You what, mate?
Unders is the old trend. Overs is the new. Because
no, that's a fad.
Inter haven't kept a clean sheet for weeks.
Shut up.
We'll see. We'll see.
8 o'clock, Real Madrid take on Arsenal. Real Madrid are drifted a little bit here. 7-10, minus 142. There's Lee with his handicap. Company is thick as fuck. Inter win. 29-10, plus 290 the draw. And Arsenal are out at 4-1. Real Madrid struggled a little bit. They lost to Valencia before the first leg. Then they lost at Arsenal. They got a 1-0 win at Alaves at the weekend. They weren't great against Atletico before that. I thought they were slightly fortunate. Mbappe got sent off. Had a little strop, didn't he? Horrible tackle. It was like 2 red cards, wasn't it, that tackle? They are very good at home. They've won 12 of 15 at home. but they're not tons of goals, Baz. They're an awful price to qualify out of this tie, by the way. I think they're about 5-1. Fucking hell, to overturn a 3-0. They just don't score loads of goals. They've only scored 3 goals once in the last 10 matches. Yeah, that's a terrible price for them to get out of this tie. Arsenal phoned it in against Brentford at the weekend. They're still not very good. And I'm not really buying that 3-0 win. I did concede they defended all right. But it was 0-0 after an hour. And a bloke who's never scored a free kick scores 2 in 8 minutes. Like, there's some red flags there. And even then, the weekend they tried. That's the level of form. That 1-1 draw to Brentford. That's more representative of Arsenal than a 3-0 win against Real Madrid. If you want me to choose which Arsenal's the real one, it's the 1-1 v Brentford. Like, with the game being 3-0 Arsenal, you're trying to find a bet that fits my game script. The first thing I looked at was Raya saves. I really wanted Martinez saves last week against PSG. I was going to put a short out. I forgot. And he made 1,000 saves. I looked at Raya saves, but the line starts at 5.5. And that's too high. I thought it might be like 2.5 or 3.5. But obviously the bookies think the same as me. So I ignored that. And then I spotted the price for the over-under on the goals. Real Madrid don't score tons. I've just spotted it, Baz. You can laugh. This is why I don't like these two picks on the same page, because I'm going to take the under 2.5.
They're both losers. Is that why? Because they're both losers.
Well, no, I did it at the weekend with Man City and then Liverpool, didn't I? And I said one of these will definitely win, and they didn't. But Liverpool was 1-0 with 2 minutes left. Like, that won, apart from in the actual score, it lost. But apart from that, it was a definite winner. And that's the same with these, Baz. Even if they have to score 3, it doesn't mean they're capable of it. We know Arsenal defend like badgers. We've just seen it last week. The under 2.5 is too big, Baz. Madrid might win it 2-0. I'll take it. I'm going to take the under 2.5, 11-8, plus 137. I would like those picks more if they were on different pages.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still tune into this one just to see if Real Madrid can get an early goal and make a bit of a game of it and make it interesting. I don't think you can rule anything out. And, you know, I would suggest Arsenal probably aren't taking anything for granted just yet either. Real have lost 5 of 13 games in the Champions League this season, but 4 of the 5 are on the road. At the Bernabeu, they've won 5 of 6. There was only AC Milan went there and won. I checked how many times have they covered a 3-goal margin. That's twice against Salzburg and Dortmund. The biggest problem, I'm less bothered about them not being able to score. I think that's factually incorrect. The biggest problem is the fact they can't keep a clean sheet. Only 1 clean sheet in the last 12 in all competitions now. And you've got to think 1 goal for Arsenal should be enough. That'll spell the end of it, really. I've wrote down plenty of goals in Real Madrid games, Malcolm. And at home in particular, 11 of the last 12 home games have seen both teams to score. And 10 of them have went over 2.5 goals. So I don't know where you're getting the unders stats from. And if you just narrow it down to the 6...
The understat was that Madrid haven't scored 3 goals in fucking forever. So we know Arsenal can't score unless Declan Rice is going to bend another 45-yarder in. They can't. Arsenal can't score. They never do. One against Brentford the weekend. That's right.
Madrid don't keep clean sheets.
And Madrid don't score 3. That's why I just said Madrid are going to win 2-0. That's the only. I think that's probably the only conceivable outcome. The more I think about it.
No, you're wrong. 6 home games in the Champions League. All hit both teams to score. All of them hit overs. 28 total goals in Real Madrid home games in the Champions League. And against decent sides as well. 3-1 against Man City. 2-1 against Atletico. AC Milan finished 3-1. 5-2 against Dortmund. So plenty of form for goals in the Champions League at the Bernabeu. I like the goals, yeah. I think Arsenal should have enough. They'll probably nick a goal somewhere themselves. But over 3.5 goals for me, Malcolm. 11-8.
There's 2 games on Wednesday. You've taken the over in both, and I've taken the under in both. What an absolute waste of everybody's time. And we'll probably win 1 each, Buzz. Right, you haven't bothered your arse to do the Europa League again,
I've got it. I'll chuck a treble out for you. I'll chuck a little lacquer out. No problem with that.
Well, I've got what I'm claiming is a turbo analysis of the Europa League. which means I looked at it. So here's the thing. I looked at it and I saw Rangers, Spurs and Man United. And I thought, I'm not wasting my time because I know Rangers shite, Spurs shite, Man United shite. I didn't need a pen and paper in 20 minutes of people's time to pick out the following bets. Bilbao are much better than Rangers. They owe me from last week, by the way. Bilbao to cover the handicap. They're the best team left in this competition. 21-20 plus 105. Spurs are ridiculously shite. So Frankfurt to qualify. Why would Spurs beat anybody? They're not capable. They can lose to anybody. I'll give them that. They're an absolute circus act. Frankfurt to qualify is 3-4, minus 133. And why would Manchester United beat anybody again? Like, why? How can they? Like, it's ridiculous. If you bet on them, you shouldn't be allowed money. And Lyon are a big price. So the Lyon double chance is plus money, Baz. Fucking hell. 11-10 plus 110 for Lyon not to get beat off Manchester United, who were complete and utter dog shit. Yeah, that's my three players. Bilbao handicap, Frankfurt qualify, Lyon double chance. Like, didn't need much time to look at those, Baz.
I like it. I mean, I just had a quick look at the money line prices for an ACCA. Bilbao to win, Frankfurt to win, and Lazio 8-1 for the three of them to win. And then just tag on Lyon and get 40-1. So there's your four. But they've all got to win in 90 minutes, granted. But all these games are wide open, aren't they? There's draws in three of them.
Yeah.
And Lazio down but coming home, it actually looks like it could be quite an entertaining night. So definitely worth having a little bet on. But yeah, I'm going to go Bilbao, Frankfurt, Lazio at 8-1. And then I'm going to tag on Lyon as well for a 40-1 four-timer.
40-1. Harry would like his 40 minutes back, Baz, if you can sort that out. If you can go into the system and refund Harry his 40 minutes, which is fair enough.
Harry wastes 90 minutes watching Chelsea every week, Malcolm. He can put up a 40.
Yes. Burn, Barry. Got him there, didn't we? I think that's it. Could we go? We let the people go? We have wasted everyone's time with this silliness, Barry.
Go eat a cottage pie and find out what the public say about the Stoat Weasel.
Have you posted? I get the impression you've posted that video while we've been talking.
Oh, I have done, yeah. It's out there.
Because Callum's already commented on it. He's all over it, Callum. He's multitasking.
Yeah.
And it sounds, Barry, like a cruel piece of nature from Callum's analysis. Have you put it on our Twitter thing?
Oh, yeah, it's there, like. You'll find it.
Sweet. Between that and baseball shoes, we're covering all the major topics today, Barry, on the socials. Right. Thank you very much, I think, for that. Thanks, everyone in the chat. I do actually mean that. I'm working on Thursday, Baz. I've got a job, which means early show. Mate, I've got to work. You know me, working class hero. I've got to go where the work is. So early show or Friday is the option. Good Friday, baby Jesus.
Early Thursday. I'm not working Thursday. I've got leave. So I'll be up in Newcastle, actually. I'm heading up to Newcastle Wednesday at some point. So, yeah, any time Thursday will work.
Right, okay. Excellent on-air production meeting. Well done, everyone. More time wasted. Have a good week. Good luck with your picks. Enjoy all the football, etc. And watch out for the schedule. Like, if you thumbs up, like this, so we'll kill you. We'll see you all down the road. Cheers.